loves. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the day. How are you? I hope you're having a beautiful, lovely day. You're looking beautiful out there. Oh. On our way to go pick up a kiddo. I wanted to share a little story today to let you know that it is okay to let people go. I think that's one, I don't want to say the hardest, because I don't know what that's like for you. I can tell you that, one of the most challenging things during my spiritual awakening in the early years was letting people go and coming to grips with the fact that, it was just, our season was finished. I had a friend, and we texted about twice a week, and, we had a lot of fun together. And, we'd send funny stuff back and forth and chat about ourselves and our kids and work and what was going on. But I had this habit that he did not like, which was I would jump into the text without saying, "Hi, Stanley, how are you?" I didn't put anything in front of it. I would just be like, I hadn't texted you. And my first text during the day was, "You're never going to believe what happened at work today. Guess what?" And he would say, "You need to make sure that you say hi to me and ask me how my day is before you go into this." And I was like, okay, I'm not really used to that. I'll try it out. I failed miserably. I really did. I just couldn't. And we kept texting back and forth, and each time my first text was, it'd be something along the lines of, "This thing happened, you're never going to believe it," or a picture that I thought was really funny, or whatever it was. But the fact that I didn't say, "Hi, Stanley, how are you?" and that we didn't have that back and forth to begin the text conversation for the day, it really bothered him. He didn't like it. So I finally had to tell him that, listen, it is not personal. I do care about you, and I do ask how you are doing, and that's why we're friends, and that's why we talk about stuff. But, I can't do this. Like, it's just not who I am. And actually, it ended up that was the straw that broke the camel's back, was the fact that I couldn't do that. So we actually are no longer friends anymore. I asked him, do you think this is something that you could, make an accommodation for? And he's like, "No, this is my boundary. This is it." And I had to tell him, well, I really like myself the way I am. I worked really hard to get here so that I could just be myself, expressing my true self and my exuberance and everything else. And I don't want to feel like I have to be this particular way in order to have a relationship. And that was a deal breaker for him. That was his boundary. So I stopped texting him. He texted me a little later and said, "Hey, what happened?" And I said, "Well, you told me that this was your boundary, and I told you I'm not able to do that." And he just texted me back, "Oh." I never heard from him again. And to be fair, I'd stopped texting him because I told him I wasn't able to do that. And so I don't see him anymore. And that's fine. Because if that's what his boundary was, and that was what he wanted, and we had a conversation about it, and he wasn't able to make any type of accommodation, then if I tried to talk about it and I already explained it, then, and I'm not willing to change, because I'm not, I like myself that way, then I think our season is past. Now that's kind of a simple one, but people don't have to be in your life forever. And many times they are not. And I'm going to say something controversial here, and I really don't give a flying fig. But just because someone is related to you by blood, if you have a boundary that they are crossing and you have attempted to communicate it, and neither one of you is going to change what that boundary is. Now, first off, let me say, you should absolutely be willing to move your boundaries if you want to have a relationship. And I do that for relationships which are more important than the boundary. But it's perfectly fine if that relationship has come to an end. You do not owe someone anything because there is a blood relationship there and they continue to violate a boundary. So I'm going to let you off the hook there, because most of the people who find my content are trauma and abuse survivors. And you don't have to take that from anybody, because what happens is you internalize it and then you start treating yourself like that. And guess what? That's not what Source wants. That's not what your higher self wants. That's not what life is about. So I'm not saying throw everyone away because they crossed your boundary once. I'm saying if you're not able to come to an agreement, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to let them go with love. They will find what they need. And if they change their mind and come back later, leave the door open if they're going to be able to do that with you. Yeah, I leave that open with my family members. Like, listen, I would love to have a relationship with you once you are sober, once you are off of this, once you are blah, 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 and you are in recovery and you are taking care of yourself. But until that time comes, I'm going to release you with love. All right, my friends, I love you. Have a beautiful day.